Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Break Talos Principle 2, the only series where, note to editor, insert intro joke here. So today we are in West 3, the High Plain, and this is the final primary puzzle area of the whole game. We're getting pretty close to the end, guys, and I know I've been saying that in a lot of these recent episodes, but it's true. So I was actually really hoping I'd be able to have a little bit of a break between this and the DLC that's coming out. Unfortunately, between the recording of the previous episode and this one, which is June 18th, not only have they announced the DLC, but they also released it. It's been out for like a week at this point, I think, give or take. So, I guess no rest for the wicked, huh? Gonna have to jump right into that one after this. So I know what you're all thinking. Are we doing puzzle number 1 first? And if you can tell by looking at the top of the screen right now, the answer is no, we're doing puzzle 2 first. So this one is one of those that's really simple in concept, but just absolutely stumped me for like half an hour when I did this game for the first time. So it's going to be really nice to jump in here and just break it wide open as usual. So the first thing we're going to do here is just connect that to that. We're going to completely ignore those fans over there. And then we're going to bring this inside. Now the problem with this is when you power this, it does open the gate, but it also turns this fan on. So the whole point of the puzzle is to try to figure out how to unpower that after you've walked through here. And normally you need to use, fans and all that sorts of stuff. But what we're actually going to do is connect this to right here. Now this is obviously what they did not intend, to be able to power this inside here. Because you can see it kind of clips through the wall right there. And if they just move that a little bit further back, they'd be able to avoid this whole cheese. But thankfully they did not. So now we're just going to move this connector so that it's going through that connector. And that means we can walk in here. Now that we're in here, we just take this away, which has the dual effect of turning off the fan and giving us an object to put on the button right here. And there we go. Now before we leave, we are just going to take this connector here and shove it through this hole in the wall. And next we are going to run over to number 4, so I will meet you there. Alright, and in number 4, we're going to be using a trick that we already know, but in a slightly new way. So first we're just going to connect this to everything there and put it right against this crack, and you might see what's coming up. Going to wait for that to open. We're going to connect this to the red one and just kind of leave it right about there is good. Doesn't really matter where. So we're going to use this trick that we already know about to grab something through this crack here. But what we're going to do is actually disconnect it from the blue, which means that this red will be able to overpower it. And we're going to put it right through the crack. And the reason I say that this is slightly new is because normally when we push things through cracks like this, we're either pulling them through the wall or just putting them on the other side of the wall. But I think this is the first time that we've actually placed something through the wall and used it immediately right there without having to run to the other side. So anyway, with number 4 done, we are going to do the Western Lost puzzle next, and it's going to be a bit of a trek, so I'll meet you over there. So I really like the theming of this one. We haven't really had any flooded puzzles like this before, and I really like the look of it. Anything to break up the monotony of just yet another puzzle. Alright, so we are going to get this first box and put it over here, and then we're going to grab that second box that we just freed up, and we're also going to put it over here. Now, this, normally when you stack up 2 boxes like this and try to put them down, you can't get on top of that second box. Try as you might, but this is a little different, and I think it's because there's a walkable surface just slightly above the level of the first box. Even though there's a gate here, it still will work, but when we place it here, you'll see it lets us actually jump up like that, and that's very unique. So we're just going to jump up. Going to grab that box. We're hopefully not going to miss this jump, because that would be... Actually, it wouldn't be bad if we missed it. We can just use the box here. But anyway, let's put this over here, solve the puzzle. And before we leave, we just need to get both boxes out. So Notice if I try to use this puzzle to get, or this box to get out here, it will not. I'm actually going to drop this in because I need it. It will. Oops. I really hate. Okay, there we go. So there's a gate right here, and even though the gate is open, it still has this weird effect where it doesn't let you grab things from the other side of it unless you are also on the other side of it. So in that case, you can see it's forcing me to walk through. Oh, actually, it doesn't work like that. That's weird. I guess it has to be up at the level of the gate. Yeah, see how it'll make me walk through there. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that this box is actually on the left side of the gate here. So we want to put it right about there, and that should work. So we're going to take that, and we're going to jump out with this one, use this to get up on top of this wall, and we can grab it there. If I had left this box over like right there, when I tried to grab it, it would make me walk off this edge to get over there to grab it, and that's not going to work. So yeah, now that we have both boxes out, we need to make sure we drop them both off of this upper area, or they will be lost forever. Alright, so with both of them down there now, we are going to grab one of them, and we're just going to run this down to number 6. We're not going to use it at number 6. It's just going to make it just a little bit faster to move boxes around later. So don't worry about it too much. Alright, and then we are going to come into number 6. And the first thing we're going to do is just use this to free our first box. This puzzle I actually did learn how to break in my first playthrough. So what we're going to do is just turn this on and jump up here. And we're going to want to put this box right about there. We don't want it all the way over here, because if we fail this jump, we're not going to be able to get this box back, because this fan is not high enough to push us up on top of here. So we'll need to be in the fan stream and be able to reach this box. So I'm going to leave it right about there in the middle. And then if we kind of jump right around the corner here, yeah, just like that, there's an invisible wall that kind of goes up to about that level right there. So that's why we need the box, to be able to jump up on top of that invisible wall. And here you can see why I left the box close enough to be able to grab from the fan. So to reset it, we'll just do this. And we'll grab it and put it right about there. And we do want it far enough to the left off the edge here so that we can actually jump over. And I jumped too far. So let's just give that one more try. Alright, and now that we're on top, we can just jump right over here and parkour to the end of the puzzle. Just like that. And before we leave, we just need to grab that box again. We're going to use it to get up on top of the slope at the end, and we're going to smuggle our connector here out. And we're going to use this connector with another connector later, and we're going to use them both to break puzzle number 7. So let me just drop this off over by number 7 real quick. Alright, so in my notes it says I need to drop it off at this little division such that we are pointed directly at number 5 when we're looking through it. So I think that's going to be this one right here. Yep, so there's number 5 in the distance up at our compass, which tells me this is exactly where I need to leave this. Alright, and then we're just going to leave that there for now, and we are going to run off to the south lost puzzle, which is right over the corner here. Alright, so this one's a little bit complicated, so I'm going to hand it off to future me for a minute to explain how laser collisions work. Thanks, past me. So, obviously, lasers will travel as far as possible through connectors, and if two laser colors conflict, they'll always meet at the halfway point between their sources. So in this case, with just one connector, the connector is one jump away from each source, thus the connector is the center point. In this case, the connector will become inert, since it has two different incoming colors. However, if the center point doesn't fall on a connector, the colors will collide between connectors instead, like this. And this will allow both connectors to keep functioning normally. And that's pretty much it, so I will send it back to past me now. So I actually have 3 different ways of solving this puzzle, going from least broken to most broken. And the very first thing we're going to do here I'm going to connect these like this and put it on this alternator. And then I'm going to connect this to that. Now, I don't think this really counts as breaking. I think this is just a perfectly valid solution to this puzzle, if not like the solution to the puzzle. And this just opens the red and the blue alternating, so you can just walk through here as these open in sequence and get to the very end. But that is not interesting or broken enough for me, so of course I have better solutions. And you can kind of watch how the conflicts with the lasers work. Okay, now for the second solution, we are just going to connect this to the blue one. We're going to leave it in the alternator. And this one takes advantage of the fact that when a laser breaks, or when two lasers overlap, there's kind of a grace period of about a second to a second and a half before the laser actually breaks. And so we're going to use that to our advantage, and while this blue gate is open, we're going to connect the red laser. And then during that kind of grace period where the blue gate stays open, we'll run through it, and then it will break and let the red laser go through when this, when it blocks it with that gate there. And I'm not going to do it myself because I will get stuck in there permanently, and I'll have to reset the whole puzzle and everything else to fix it. So I'm just going to kind of show you how it works. So first you wait for the blue gate to open, and then we're going to put the red one down, and you'll see it stays open for a second, and then it will open the red. So there's a second way. Probably also considered a pretty valid solution. I don't think there's really anything broken about this. Which leaves us to our third. Of course, why deal with overlapping lasers at all? So what we can do here is we can just connect that like that. And then for our red one, you might ask, how can we place this? Where can we place this if these lasers don't overlap? It wouldn't be anywhere on the ground because no matter where you place it, they'll always overlap. So we're not going to place it on the ground. What we're going to do is hop up on this here, and then we can hop up on this little ledge right there. Now the game is pretty smart about not letting you place a laser or a connector where it's not supposed to be. So if you try to left click here, it's just not doing anything because that's not really a valid place for a connector to be. But it doesn't do that if you right click. So if we just right click, it'll drop it on there. And there we go. The lasers don't overlap anymore. And now that both are open, we can just waltz right through to the end. Alright, now we're going to do just a little bit of setup in here before we leave. And what we're going to do is put this one right about there. And then connect that to blue and the other connector and put it right here. And you'll see this connector is going to switch between blue and red, and that's exactly what we want. So just keep that in mind for later. Alright, we are going to head off to number 8 next. I'll meet you there. Alright, very first thing we're going to do in number 8 is just open this with that. And we're going to take this fan and get to the swap table here. And we're going to need to get this box out. And normally we can't do that. We can jump out ourselves, but there's no way to get the box itself out. And even if we jump up here and put the box outside, there's just no way to get onto it. We can't jump when we're on the swap table, and we can't jump over the fence. So what we're going to do instead is we need to drop it so it's kind of sitting on the corner of the drop table or the swap table just like that. It'll take a few attempts to get it so it doesn't fall off immediately. Oh, out there. That might have been it. I might have just ruined it. Okay. Hopefully that's good. Now we should just be able to kind of jump up and bounce off the box that's on the swap table, which seems really weird because it shouldn't have collision. But it just does for some reason. Oop, actually it almost kicked me up like that. There we go. Okay, now that we're up here, we can just jump out of the puzzle, grab the box, and waltz right over. And we're just going to use this connector and power the fan. And then next thing we're going to do is we're going to jump about halfway across this bridge, and it'll drop the box right where we go through the purple screen. And that will provide us a a stepping stone. Oop. A stepping stone, so we can jump across using only a single box. Just like that. Alright, and next we're going to go ahead and grab that connector that we left at number 2, and I'm going to bring it all the way over to number 7 so we can finally solve that one. So let me go grab that real quick. Alright, so we're here at this little mountain ridge that's separating 7 from the lost puzzle down there with the lasers. And we're just going to connect this to the connector here, if I can find it. There it is. We're going to do the same and connect it to that one that we set up down there. We're just going to put it right about there. And we'll watch as this laser goes from red to blue. And that will be very useful in number 7, so let's head down there. Okay, so let's solve like half of the puzzle here, just to get that connector free. Alright, so of course the problem with this is we do have both the blue and the red laser at our disposal, but we can only use one at a time, and we need both of them to open all the gates. Now normally the solution to this one involves, actually I don't remember exactly how you're supposed to do this. I think you're supposed to creatively use the jammer to either allow the red or the blue laser to go through. But we're just going to simplify that process quite a bit because we have that laser up there that alternates between the two colors. So we can just put it right about there. And this will just open each one in turn. So it'll turn blue and open the first gate. And we just wait for it to turn red and open the second gate. And same for the third gate. I really like how the perfect solution to this puzzle was given to us in the next puzzle over. And it's this close to this puzzle. It's almost like they wanted us to break it like this. Alright, so with that done, we're going to go back to puzzle number 6 and get that box that we left there. And we're going to bring it back here and free the jammer from in there. So I'll meet you there in just a minute. Alright, so let's go put this jammer over by the end real quick, because there's a low enough wall that we can grab it from. And to get up on top, we're just going to use this box to jump up the slope right at the entrance. Just like that. Let's run over there and grab the jammer. Just like that. Alright, and with the jammer in tow, we're going to go back to number 1 finally. This direction here. Alright, so number 1 was quite frustrating to try to break, just because, again, it's one of those super simple puzzles. So really, this is the best I could come up with. I don't think it's terrible. It is what it is. So let's just get this out here. And before we connect that, we're going to come over here and jam that. And that'll give us a super simple solve. Just connect that there and walk to the end. Alright, that just leaves number 3 and number 5. So we're going to do number 3 next. 3 is another one that gave me by far the most trouble of anything in here. And the reason for that is it's just, you know, again, one of those fairly simple puzzles that really isn't all that breakable. So I decided to think outside the box, literally, So we're going to need to gather 4 boxes to number 3, and that is quite a lot of running. It's like 10 minutes real time, so I'm just going to cut that out. I'm not even going to do the fast forward because even that would take forever. So let me gather all the boxes to number 3, and I will meet you on the other side. So I did forget there is something we have to do real quick in number 8 to get the second box out. And we're going to do pretty much exactly the same thing we did for the first box. Except this time it's going to be slightly more difficult because for some reason when the connector is on the table, it doesn't let you kind of jump up like it did on the previous one. At least not as easily. So what we're going to do here instead is if you jump up against it, you'll see sometimes it'll catch us in midair. And if we get lucky, we can just kind of jump up on top of the cube. It does take a lot of fiddling. Almost there. Oops, almost got it. Let's try positioning it better. Let's try that. Come on, Monkey, get up. You know you want it. Let's see if I can jump up on the swap table like this. Yeah, it's not letting us. Okay, back to this one. There we go. Alright, now that we're out, we can grab the cube. Alright, and now we can bring 4 boxes to number 3, so I'll meet you there. Alright, here we are outside number 3 with 4 boxes. And as I was saying before, I could not figure out a good way to break 3 from the inside, so I decided to do it from the outside instead. Thankfully, these little tunnels in here that line every puzzle in the area just happen to be perfect for this. Now, the thing about boxes, and probably other objects in the game, but boxes are easiest to stack, they really don't like it when their stack is interrupted. So if we were to, for example, stack up some boxes here, as soon as we put this third box on top, it can't physically be there because of that overhang, and the game just does not know how to deal with that, and it just kind of goes a little crazy. And we're going to use that to our advantage here. And I have only very lightly dabbled with this, just to see if the concept was possible, and it clearly is. So I'm kind of experimenting with this, mostly for the first time with you guys right now. And we're going to see if we can launch ourselves up on top of puzzle number 3 there. So sometimes when it stops jiggling, it helps to place that third box down again. Don't think I need to do that right now. So yeah, sometimes if you hit space to jump up on that little footprint, the game kind of freaks out and doesn't really know where to send you. So it can kind of, yeah, just like that. Not quite the aim that I wanted to have, but that is, in concept, a good start. Yeah, if only it was a little higher. Sometimes just touching the cube is enough to launch you, kind of like that, but ideally in the other direction. Ooh, that was a good launch. Just not in the direction that I wanted to go. Ooh, very fast, right into a tree. The game really doesn't know what to do with you. Yeah, that was a really good one. We just need to aim it better. Oh, whoa. Hey kids, do you love watching Let's Break Talos Principle 2, but wish you could break puzzles all by yourself at home? Are you burdened by brainy puzzles that only an egghead could figure out? Well, now you can solve them with Let's Break Talos Principle 2, the book. For only $3 plus a 50-cent shipping charge, you can bring the magic of cheese to your own doorstep. Here's just one example of how you can solve puzzles in creative and unintended ways from the comfort of your own home. Following our simple 58-step process, you can solve West 3-5 without having to use a lick of brain power. Make your way to the Western Lost Puzzle. Solve the puzzle using the guide on page 138. Place one box on the edge by the former gate. Smuggle the other box out of the puzzle. Use this box to smuggle the other box out of the puzzle as well. Take both boxes to puzzle number 6. Make your way to puzzle number 8. Solve the puzzle using the guide on page 149. Pick up the connector and take the fan into the swap table area. Swap the connector for a box. Place the box on the swap table and escape the puzzle. Pick up the box and bring it back into the main puzzle area. Detach the fan blade from its mount. Place the fan blade on the button to power the fan. Pick up the box and bring it to the upper level. Place the box on the purple barrier bridge. Jump on the box and free the second box. Use both boxes to make a bridge over the fence. Pick up the fan blade and place it inside the swap table area. Enter the swap table area. Swap the fan blade for the connector. Place one box next to the swap table. Place the second box on the swap table. Climb up the staircase, pick up the first box, and smuggle it out of the puzzle. Pick up the second box and smuggle it out of the puzzle as well. Take both boxes to puzzle number 6. Construct a staircase with 3 of the boxes. Using the staircase you just made, smuggle the leftover box into puzzle number 6. Solve the puzzle using the guide on page 163. Use the fan to pick up the box from the upper area. Place the box next to the tree at the end of the puzzle. Locate the connector and pick it up. Smuggle the connector out of the puzzle using the box by the tree. Take the connector to puzzle number 5. Leave the connector outside puzzle number 5 and enter the puzzle. Connect the first connector to both laser elements. Connect the second connector to both laser elements as well as the first connector. Pick up the first connector. Connect it to the second connector and place it in this exact spot. Leave puzzle number 5. Pick up the outer connector and connect it to the connector by the window. Connect it to the receptacle by the first gate. Connect it to the receptacle by the second gate. With your prepared connector, return to puzzle number 6. Smuggle the connector into puzzle number 6 using the staircase. Move the entire staircase to puzzle number 5. Return to puzzle number 6. Pick up the box and place it on the fan. Stand on the box and turn the fan on. Pick up the platform from the upper area and turn off the fan. Pick up the connector with the right mouse button, place it on the box, and turn on the fan. Pick up the platform and walk under the box to pick the box and the connector up. Smuggle the platform box connector stack out of the puzzle the same way you did before. Return to puzzle number 5 one last time. Use the staircase here to jump into puzzle number 5. Be careful not to touch the purple barrier. Walk to the first gate and wait for it to open. Walk to the second gate and wait for it to open. You have now solved puzzle number 5. Now, wasn't that easy? This solution and many, many more can be at your fingertips. Ask your parents to order Let's Break Talos Principle 2, the book, for only $3 plus 50 cents shipping today.
Previously on Let's Break.
So we're going to do number 3 next. So we're going to need to gather 4 boxes to number 3. And we're going to see if we can launch ourselves up on top of puzzle number 3 there. Oh, whoa.
And now, the thrilling conclusion.
Oh, whoa. No, stop, no, I don't want to die.
Do not despair. If you go back, all will be forgiven. The process will continue.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. Let's try it right here instead. I think that's going to work a lot better. Ooh, oh, hey! I was wondering how long that would take to actually pull off. Alright, let's just hop down in here, solve the puzzle. Alright, now with every single puzzle solved, we are going to go ahead and do our sparks next. So our first spark is going to be just towards number 4-ish. Okay, it's going to be right up here by the base of that tower there. So this one is a real simple spark. It's just kind of sitting here in the middle of some stacked rocks. And then the next one is going to be way over near puzzle 6-ish by the base of that tower right there. And for this one, we just need to climb up these warp panels right here, or grav panels, whatever you want to call them. And there we go. And with those done, next is the Easter eggs. So our very first one is going to be up in this direction. Alright, so hidden up in the mountains, I think it's right up in here. There is a secret little tunnel entrance. Yep, there it is.
This means absolutely nothing to me, but anybody who's watched Twin Peaks is probably freaking out right now.
I have never watched it myself. I probably would enjoy it if I did, so maybe I'll get into it someday. But that is that, and our next Easter egg is going to be down right at the base of the tower over here, so I'll meet you there. Alright, and here we have one of those purple holograms. This one is of chess. There's been, I think, a couple of references to chess in this game before. One of the labs has a chessboard that Miranda and Athena, possibly Cornelius, were playing with. There may be other chess references that I'm forgetting, but that's the main one. Alright, next one is going to be... I don't know which direction that is. It's past number 7, so that way. I'll meet you there. Alright, so over here, not sure if this is Easter egg exactly, but it is the only Cornelius, Athena, Miranda hologram that is red instead of the normal color that it is, which I don't remember off the top of my head. Purple, I think? I don't know if it has any unique dialogue, but I'll play it just in case.
I'm tired of waiting. Sometimes I think Mother is stalling. Like, we could already be done with this, but she's afraid of what will happen if we contact New Jerusalem. Our discoveries are amazing, world-changing. But how much longer can we sit around on this island? None of it means anything if people don't know about it. Can they really be so afraid of change?
Alright, so these next two Easter eggs, you have to get up on top of that plateau up there, which is quite tricky. Hopefully I'm going to do this on first try, because if it resets, we're going to have some problems. And the death barrier is like right there, so let's try this. Okay, good, I did make it on first try. Alright, let's not screw this up. I think we need to go further over. Yep, and we can jump up here, and up there, And up top. Alright. So the first one up here we do need photo mode for. You can probably see what's coming. This spot right there. There he is. There she is. There it is. Alright. Finally, next Easter egg is right around the corner over here. And it is a toilet with fungus in it. And what happens when you hit E on it? You take the mushroom, I guess. Alright, probably don't want to eat that one, Kay. Okay, next Easter egg, and our final Easter egg. Oh, okay, I haven't actually picked that up before, so I had no idea this happens. That's pretty cool. Alright, next Easter egg is just to the right of puzzle number 2, which is going to be right about that way. So I'll meet you there. Wonder how long this effect lasts. And our final Easter egg of this area, right around the corner here, is just some weird floating rocks. And I did not mean to jump off the edge like that. That's really all there is to it, just some floating rocks. Alright, so once we respawn, let's go ahead and go to the bridge and the tower and do all that. Alright, and as we make it back to base camp here, that's going to signal the end of this episode. Thank you very much to those who have made it this far in the series. As always, please leave a comment if you have any sort of feedback whatsoever. I love reading them. Join us next time as we head back into the megastructure for hopefully the final time to save our friend. Peace. So, the perceptive among you may notice that this is not where we left off at the last episode. And the reason for that is we're going to take a little trip back in time to the beginning of the series again. So I'm just going to go back in time here and make sure we fix that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to jam it from behind.